What is up? A very good morning. Hope you had an amazing day yesterday, and we're going to start off by analyzing EURUSD. So EURUSD has moved down slightly lower yesterday with the overall news and the overall 4-hour order flow. So what we can see is that we were continuously breaking the low over here. Then again, we broke the low over here, pretty much just pulled back in towards this supply zone yesterday as expected and continued down lower, pretty much in towards the entirety of this overall, let's say, if we take the entire range, the entire sell before the buy. And now we can see that the market has been stalling inside and it's kind of moving in towards the downside very correctively. So what I'm looking to identify is that your dollar might be ready to start pushing up higher in line still with the overall, let's say market structure here on the 4-hour time frame. Because as we can see and mentioned in yesterday's video, we have higher high, higher high, a higher high, and a higher low and a higher low, with a new potential higher low being formed over here after tapping in towards this area of demand. Now, I would have had more conviction that we were ready to push down lower if we were to see more bearish confirmation. However, as we can see on the 4-hour time frame, we're just purely kind of squeezing in towards the downside. If we take a quick look at the 1-hour time frame as well, what you'll see is that every single time we break a low over here, we retrace. Over here again, we break the low, and again we retrace. Now we're stalling inside this 1-hour area of supply. Let me just remove the line so that everything is as clear as possible for you, because if again we look at the 1-hour time frame, what you'll see over here is that pretty much the overall pattern in towards the downside is a descending channel slash wedge. So what I'm now looking to actually realize is, because look over here, you have this supply zone, right? This buy for the sell, which broke structure over here in towards the downside. We can see we're coming in towards the supply zone, but no reaction at all yet. So what I'm looking for today is to see, okay, can we push above this high over here, pull back, and then I'll look for that upside continuation. That is the play that I'm mainly focusing on for now with EURUSD. On the 4-hour, not really interested yet in any other setup. We'll have more confirmation once we close or break this 4-hour fractal high over here, which is going to be your 4-hour change of character high. So that's what I'm currently waiting for. On the 15-minute time frame, obviously people are going to be looking for shorts, and I mean, you can still look for shorts, guys, because the overall 15-minute trend is still in towards the downside, and we will only have confirmation of bullishness once we break this high. However, for me, it does not seem very convincing, this overall corrective descending pattern. I've seen it many times before, hence why I'm being a little bit careful for the rest of today. Though, yes, I must say there was a nice play, obviously coming back up for liquidity over here and then dumping in towards the downside. But for now, I mean, there is still one short pretty much in play from, for example, this supply zone. Maybe we can see some further downside. I'm not saying that no further downside is not possible, because if we go in towards the 4-hour time frame and we look over here and we just focus on refining this overall area of demand, then you'll, for example, see that we have not yet tapped in towards that demand zone. So there is still potential for it, but just purely based on the overall market structure, the way that we're correcting in towards the downside, no real bearish conviction. I am being a little bit hesitant with selling off on euro dollar for now. If you do, just make sure to take your profits inside of this area of demand. Now moving on in towards the dollar index, what are we seeing over here? Well, we can see that we've pretty much pulled back in towards the first imbalance zone, guys. So I use an indicator called the 50% body candle indicator, and this identifies areas of supply and demand for myself. And as we can see over here, we have a zone with 50% body candles. We've tapped in towards there, and straight away we sold off in towards the downside. Now what I'll be waiting for to see is, are we going to see that further downside play then from here? If we do, then we'll have the confirmation upon, let's say, the change of character over here. We'll look for that downside continuation for sure. If we do pull up higher, then obviously we'll just be looking from this buy before the sell-off. That will be the next shorting zone that we're going to be looking for. So yeah, more confirmation if the zone is valid, if we do see a change of character over there. So that's the dollar index for you. Now moving on in towards AUDUSD, what are we seeing over here? So pretty similar to euro dollar, corrective in towards downside for now, tapped in towards this demand zone as expected and explained yesterday, and now moving back in towards the highs. So Aussie dollar does have potential now to continue up higher if we do see some shift in market structure on the lower time frame. Over here, because we have now made a pullback in towards a valid area of demand. 4-hour looks bullish as well, making higher highs and higher lows. So that is pretty much the play here on Aussie dollar. Going in towards a daily real quick. Obviously obviously the daily is, let's say, swing bearish, let's put it that way, from this high in towards this low, but it doesn't mean that we could still push up slightly higher and maybe even liquidate our own high over here. Not real big fan of the daily overall on Aussie dollar, more just focusing on the intraday time frame here on Aussie dollar on the 4-hour time frame, and that just shows me that there is still a lot of bullish momentum within the market and potential for it to move up higher in line with the dollar index. Focusing on the 15-minute time frame, what we can see over here, I mean, nothing really that interesting, if I'm very honest. Yeah, nothing really that interesting. I'm going to be focusing on that, just focus mainly on the 4-hour time frame and what we see over there. Now moving on in towards pound dollar, because pound dollar is more interesting, and pound dollar did in fact continue in towards the downside yesterday after seeing a pullback in towards this area of supply. So this is a perfect example of how order flow operates. As we can see over here, we had the change of character low over there. We put in a candle close below that fractal low. We then pulled back in towards that supply zone and we just dropped down lower in towards our target zone. So a beautiful trade setup that was, if you were able to take it on the 15-minute time frame yesterday. So yeah, GBPUSD played out perfectly. Now looking here at GBPUSD, it still has some potential to continue up higher from this area of demand that we're currently situated in one more time and moving up higher in towards that daily area of supply. There is still potential for that, still untouched if we draw it from the body to the wick. So just keep that in mind when trading for now. Yeah, I mean, just wait, I would say, until we break this high and then just trade the overall order flow up higher if you like. So that's pound dollar. Then NZDUSD, what are we seeing over there? NZDUSD on the 4-hour has pushed yesterday in towards the downside as well, pretty much as expected. Obviously, we had that change of character low broken over here, and then looking for further downside, pushed down in towards this area of demand, and now has potential to continue up higher and grab the liquidity resting above this high and put in a new higher high. So that's what I'm looking for now on NZDUSD for some further upside. Now going in towards our last pair, which is gold. So what I'm looking for on gold at the moment is potentially a deeper correction. So you guys know what I mentioned about range trading yesterday. As you can see, obviously we had some news come into play, hence why we've now broke out of the range. So the range was just forming before news came out. Overall on the 4-hour time frame, we've now seen a change of character. So what I'm looking for the rest of the day is potentially for some higher prices, some better prices from where we could potentially sell off down lower. So yeah, not looking for any real trades from here personally. So you're just waiting it out and looking for that higher time frame zone on the 4-hour time frame, which is going to be this imbalanced candle over here, which is your supply, from where I would be happy to look for a deeper correction on gold after this massive overextended move in towards the highs. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in and wish you all a fantastic day. Thanks.